Hi everyone, my name is Monique.
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
And welcome to another Top 10 episode. Today we are going to be discussing GenCon. It is our yearly GenCon video where we discuss our anticipated games.
The obligatory
That's
video
right.
that must happen.
But this year we are going to be doing things a little bit differently because we're just going to be talking about a lot of games. We're going to be talking about games that we've covered, games that we're going to be covering, and games that we just saw on the list that have piqued our interest that we might be checking out had we been going to GenCon.
Yes, this year we are not going to be in attendance. We have gone in years past, and hopefully we'll return next year.
Yes. Now, if you have no idea what we're talking about, GenCon is a yearly convention for board games in North America, in the United States, actually. It happens every year around the end of July, early August. I believe this year it is August 1st through 4th.
It's a 4-day event.
Yes.
There's some events on Wednesday as well, so technically a 5-day event if you're a content creator. And this is held in Indianapolis, Indiana at the Convention Center, which is very, very big.
Largest
Huge
board gaming convention in North America, I believe. And we've gone in the couple of years past, just like Naveen was mentioning. So we have made videos of our experience in the past if you're interested in just knowing what it's all about. It's not just board games. There's tabletop RPGs. There are people who cosplay. There are a lot of events, a lot of demos, and a majority of, well, not all, but a lot of games that are released from year to year get released at that convention. Now, this year looks a little bit different. You know, the board game industry has been affected a lot by the tariffs. Some publishers, as an example, who usually do attend, might not be attending this year. This has also affected the GenCon preview list, which is what we usually base all of our choices off of. And so all the games that we'll be talking about today are based off of the list on BGG. If you have not seen that list, we've also linked that in the description below if you'd like to check it out. And also, because of all the things that I mentioned, I'm not quite sure which games are being released versus which ones are just being demoed at the convention.
Yeah.
So we did not take any of those things into consideration. We just added games to our list that were a part of the GenCon preview list.
Because the way I see it is if you're going to go to GenCon, it's a trade show.
Yeah.
And you have the opportunity to demo a game before maybe it's going to be released. I would be anticipating that demo.
Yes, that's
session,
true.
right? Like it's not just about buying, but it's also about just understanding and learning about new games.
Yeah,
as well.
and seeing what's coming.
Yeah.
Right? Now, before we head into our list, just a couple of things. The first being, we're not going to be including any expansions on our list, mainly just because we wanted to focus on individual title releases.
Sure.
And the other thing is we are doing something a little bit different this year. We've made a playlist.
Oh, yeah.
So every year we make a list and we don't include the games that we've covered on our channel. And we always get these questions about how come this game didn't make your list? We thought it would be right down your alley.
It's like, oh, we actually covered that.
Yes.
9 months ago.
We typically like to preserve the list for games that we just have not played, really just have heard of for the first time when we look at the preview list. So this year we've made a master list of all of the games that we've covered in the past, whether it was a Kickstarter preview from when the game was on Kickstarter and is now releasing, or just a game that we've made a playthrough of. So we've linked that in the description below if you'd like to learn more information about a game, maybe you'd like to see it played, because maybe it's now piqued your interest since you saw it on the preview list.
Yeah, and any games that we are going to be covering in the future that are part of the preview list or that are releasing at GenCon, I will add those as well as we start to release those videos to that playlist. But first, we do have to mention that this episode is kindly sponsored by Upper Deck for their newest TCG, Rush of Ikorr.
That's right. Rush of Ikorr is a new TCG that blends ancient mythology with modern gameplay design. In this game, you assume the role of a powerful avatar, infusing and summoning legendary champions, building iconic locations, and casting mystical spells to claim your dominance.
Unique infusion cards provide card customization through the use of clear overlay cards, allowing players to transform their champion cards to assume new abilities and traits. This system allows for over 2,000 different card combinations, which result in endless gameplay outcome possibilities. In addition, Rush of Ikorr was created to support 3 versus 3 team battles, challenging players to work together and develop strategies as a unit, creating a level of depth that isn't typically found in standard competitive battles.
And Rush of Ikorr is now available. So if this sounds interesting to you, feel free to follow the link in the video's description to learn more about the game, organized play, as well as the starter decks that are available from upperdeck.com. And thank you so much to Upper Deck for helping sponsor this video.
All right, thank you so much. Now, starting with the games we've already covered.
Yes, these are games that are on the master playlist that we were talking about, and we've broken them down in this video by category. So starting with heavy strategy games, because as some of you know, we love to play heavy strategy games, heavy Euro games, and there weren't a ton of them on the list. a lot of them we have covered.
Yep.
So games such as Luthier, which is a game that we covered when it was on Kickstarter. We did a full playthrough of it. This is a game that has an orchestral sort of theme, classical music.
theme. Yeah, you're a luthier, so you are building instruments for very famous composers of the time.
Yes.
Real composers.
Yes.
They're in the public domain, apparently.
Very real.
So that's a game that we have done a playthrough of in its prototype stage, and
Yeah.
now it's finally coming out.
And there aren't a ton of games with that theme. So
No,
this is definitely a strategic game that is based off, and you'll see those famous composers in the game. So if that sounds interesting to you, we did a full playthrough of it. Next, we have Galactic Cruise, which I think now has an expansion.
I think I saw in the previews there was like maybe 2 or 3 expansions.
Yes,
so
I've
I'm not
only
exactly
played
sure.
it in its prototype form, but we did do a playthrough of it, base game only, and that is on the heavier side as well.
Yeah, you're running a space travel agency. You're trying to get your customers onto the ships, send them out into space so that they can spend their hard-earned cash to rain it down on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And finally, the third game that we've actually covered fairly recently is a game called Shackleton Base. So another space theme.
Another one, yeah.
But instead of making a cruise line, you're exploiting the moon.
You're sponsored by corporations to go and mine resources from the
Yes.
moon for your own objectives.
Right.
Basically.
The game has several different corporations, so you play with different ones, and they're all sort of asymmetric in that way. So we did a full playthrough of that one as well. Now going towards the other extreme, we've also covered a few 2-player only games. So games such as Layers, which is a preview that I did while I was on Kickstarter. So we just taught the game, but this might sound interesting to you if you like silly themes. It's sort of like a 1v1 battleship cave building.
Yeah, so like it's called Layers because you have your own layer. And
Yes.
basically, you've designed it in a way where your opponent is trying to navigate through it, but blindly. And so
Yes.
you have to be honest with the communication as to like what they're kind of running into, what kind of walls and what kind of traps you've set for them.
Yes.
And both players are doing this kind of simultaneously, taking one turn after another.
Right. Next, we have Line of Fire, Burnt Moon. So if you enjoy card games,
Lane battlers.
specifically, yes,
Lane Battler.
Lane Battlers, and I believe this is like, it takes like a mechanic from the Undaunted series, if you're familiar with that, then that is also a game that I believe was recently released.
Yep.
And we've also covered a few of the Bitewing 2-player only lines. So Bitewing Games is a publisher. They release a lot of Reiner Knizia titles, but also some other titles by other designers who are sort of in the same vein, design-wise, as Reiner Knizia. And I know that Iliad and Ikorr,
Iliad and Ikorr.
yes, are 2-player only games.
Yeah, we covered those back last year. I believe it was last year. And those are 2-player only. Abstract strategy, like 30-minute style games. And they are part of the Mythology series, Mythic series. Can't remember the name. Yeah.
Yes, they're very quick playing games, and so we have full playthroughs of them as well. And speaking of Bitewing, moving into the sort of medium weight, I guess, or on the lighter end, they also have some multiplayer games that we've covered, such as Silos, Ego.
So Silos, we did a 3-player playthrough
Yes.
of. You're abducting like cows.
There's
doing
more to it than
experiments and
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Ego is a game that we did a 4-player playthrough with 2 of the people from the Board Game Barrage podcast. And then we also did a 2-player playthrough of a game called Orbit, where you're
Yes.
trying to navigate around the orbits of the different planets.
Yeah, they were all part of the same campaign, so we have full playthroughs of those. And we'll just go through the rest of them fairly quickly. We also did a playthrough of Emerald Skulls, which is, I don't know that this is medium weight. This is definitely like
Lighter, party-ish,
style,
yeah, Yahtzee-style game.
Yahtzee-style game.
Yeah.
I also did a preview for Nature, which is, I think it's like one of the most thumbed games on that list right now.
Yes,
People
if you
who
sort
enjoy-
by thumbs up, Nature, I think, is number 1 right
Yes,
now. Yeah.
it's a system. It's a modular system that is sort of in the same vein as like Evolution, Oceans. You know, it's all by the same publisher, and so this is sort of like on a grander scale. Just a few days ago, we've also covered Potions of Azurland, which is a tighter resource game that has this priority order mechanic
yeah.
that makes it kind of tough. There's also Ice, which is now the second edition of the game, where they made a lot of changes to the first in order to sort of streamline it. We've covered Moon Bunny, which is a sort of an Asian folklore-inspired sort of game. Really beautiful.
Abstract game as well.
And by the way, that is from an indie publisher. And another indie published game is a game called Natera, which is almost sort of bordering on heavy. Like, that is a strategy game. It's definitely like medium weight.
It's definitely medium, yeah.
Strategy game. Everybody's like a different animal
Asymmetric animal faction.
And you're building your own new world as animals who have
I
inhabited
think the
it.
theme is like the world has gone to S, and then basically,
Yes.
and you're basically re-inhabiting it with just different critters and animals.
Just critters who
Yeah.
have survived the S. And speaking of the world going to S, there's also How to Save a World, which is a game that I did a preview of, so we didn't do a full playthrough of it.
Yeah.
But it is now releasing, and we also have full playthroughs of Hedge Mage when it was in its Kickstarter form,
Yes.
as well as Ice and Idols.
Ice and Idols. Okay.
And finally, we have the lighter games. So All Play does a big line now
Lots of games.
small box
Yeah.
games. I believe we've only covered like one of them as
For the
a
Emperor?
full playthrough, but
Yeah.
a lot of the other ones we've like included in our Let's Talk Board Games episodes.
Right.
So there's sort of something for everyone with that line because they all sort of play off of a specific mechanic. So I recommend checking those out if you like lighter games. Recently, we covered a game called Fountains
Yep.
from the Op, which
Yep.
is an abstract strategy game where you are building your own grand fountain.
You've been tasked by the local mayor to build out the best fountain so you
Yeah.
can have the most rewards.
Yes.
That's what it is.
You have to make sure every part of your fountain is being watered, or else who wants to look at a fountain that
A dried up one.
a dried up section of a
Bird poop.
fountain?
Yeah.
We also did a playthrough of Biomes of Nilgiris, which is from an indie publisher based in India. So if you enjoy nature themes, this one has a strong nature theme to it. Another one with nature theme is a game called Borealis,
yeah.
which was, I think, direct to pre-order from Lucky Duck.
Yes.
And this one has a nature card photographing theme to it. With
You're trying to manage your scientists.
Yes, that is the main
in one of three different
mechanism.
columns. And in order to actually play your cards, you need the right scientist in the right spot.
Yes.
But why you want to play a particular nature card is dependent on some scoring parameters. So
Yeah.
a lot of like puzzling out, but it's very, very light as well.
Very quick playing game. So we also have a playthrough of that as well. And finally, we played a game called Flip Tunes.
Oh, yeah.
So this one is sort of getting some steam. This is a Thunderworks card game where you are trying to cast tunes for your next big animation.
You're like a
show.
film or TV producer, and you're trying to get the 6 best toon characters to be in your show.
Yes.
That's what the game is.
Deck building.
Deck building.
But with a unique sort of, you just got to flip your cards, and those are the cards that are scoring you points. You can build your biggest deck, but it's just the 6 cards that you flip in that moment that will determine your current fame.
It's kind of like one of those games where it's like, I use this to get the currency, to get the better cards, to then kick out the ones that were helping me get there.
Yeah, deck builder.
building, you know? So there you go.
And those are the games that we have covered that are going to be on that playlist. I hope I don't know if we've missed
We
some.
probably missed a
It's
few.
possible,
Yeah.
but if we catch any more, we'll just be adding to that playlist in case you'd like to check them out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as for the games that we will be covering in the couple of weeks that are not going to make our anticipated list, games such as Kinfire Council, which is a strategy worker placement game. We covered it when it was on Kickstarter, but they've made a lot of changes to it.
Yeah.
For the final retail version, which is now releasing, I believe, at GenCon.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a playthrough of Horrified D&D.
Yep.
So we have a few Horrified playthroughs on our channel
do.
already, but this is specifically Dungeons & Dragons
All right.
themed. We have Citizens of the Spark, which is a card game.
Tableau.
Tableau building
Yep.
that's also going to be probably before Gen Con. You'll see it on our channel. Twinkle Twinkle, which is an all-play game. Same designer as Gnome Hollow. We have a couple of tutorials coming out. One for Scream, which is sort of a play off of
Cabo, Silver.
Scram,
Yeah.
that kind of system of card games, as well as Tag Team, which is from the same publisher as Sky Team, but very different game. This is
very
an
different game,
auto
yeah.
battling deck building game. So we're going to be doing a tutorial for that. Otherwise, we're also doing playthroughs of Tea Garden as well as Galileo Galilei with its expansion, both of which are from the same designer as SETI.
Yes.
So-
All came out in the same year.
Yes. And so
Wow,
those
yeah.
are not making the list because we're going to be covering them.
Yep.
And we'll also be covering Merchants of Andromeda, Wrath, Tea Witches,
Mm-hmm.
and a 2-player playthrough of Lord of the Rings,
Fate of the Fellowship.
Fate of the Fellowship.
There we go. You got
Thank
the
you.
title. Yeah, you did it.
So lots of content. Stay tuned for those. But
Lots.
that is also why none of these titles are making the actual list.
Correct.
So I hope that clarifies everything. And also, this way we're able to talk about a lot more games that you may be seeing coming up at Gen Con.
All right, so now let's get into the list. Now, I know we've talked and mentioned a lot of games already, but why not talk about a
Why
few
not
more?
I mean, we're here.
We're here. Cameras are on, lights are on, might as well.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So, our honorable mentions this year are going to be games that we have played before, because, again, we like to preserve the list with games that we haven't played it, which is why we're talking about a lot of games now, because when we actually get to the list, we really don't know much about those games.
Yeah, that's true.
So for our honorable mentions this year, we do want to mention some games that we really have enjoyed in the past that are getting re-released in some kind of capacity. So games such as Kalimala, which is a game that
I really enjoy that one.
loves.
I think it's 3 and up only in terms of player count.
Yeah,
maybe now it plays
probably.
2. I don't know. I think there might be a 2-player mode in this one. Got like a facelift, a new kind of art. Other than that, I don't really know what was changed. But it's a game that I'm very fond of. It is a resource kind of management game where you're just trying to build out different parts of Italy and also try to score at the right time.
It has a unique feel to it.
It does,
It's a Euro game through and through.
Yeah.
But we have not played the new version of the game, so we can't speak on what that is going to include that is not part of the original. But the original, I don't even know what year it was released. We still have it on our shelf.
2017, I want to say.
Yes.
It was our
really
first
enjoy.
session. That's the first time we played it.
That's a fun game.
Yep.
Next we have Botswana, which is that a...
Renner Knizia?
It's Renner Knizia,
I think
right?
so, yeah.
It's a stock market-y style of game.
Yes.
Now, we have I think one of the original versions of it. It's been re-released several times. We also have the Japanese version of the game, which has different art. But the version that we first had, or have, has these little plastic animal figures.
Like toys.
Toys,
like
basically.
1980s toys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very simple, but very clever.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a card game where you have animal cards and you're playing a card and taking an animal. And depending on the final value of that animal at the end of the game, that's how much your entire supply of animals are going to be worth.
True stock market, supply and demand
Yes.
kind of game where everybody's competing over the same animals. You're trying to manage your hand and not leave yourself exposed.
I feel like it's one of the earlier stock market-y style games that I had ever played.
That you played? Yeah,
getting into the hobby,
probably,
and
yeah.
I was really fond of it.
Yeah.
Mainly because it was quick playing and like easy to get into, but also because of the plastic animal figures that I don't know that you're gonna get in this new version.
I don't know how it's listed now on BGG because I didn't look this up before the list, but I think Wildlife Safari is also another name
title.
for it, so you might find it there on BGG. So yeah, that's one that we really, really like, and it's nice to see that it's coming out again. A game that I am really, really fond of, but I think it plays best at 3 players, is a game called Manhattan Project Energy Empire. That also got some sort of reskinning, refacelift on it. Not exactly sure what it is, but it's a game that I'm very fond of at the 3-player count.
Yeah.
So hopefully maybe they made it improvements for the 2-player because it was a little bit lacking in the original version.
I was surprised to see it actually when when I was going through the list. I said, "Oh my gosh, Manhattan Project Energy Empire is here."
Yeah.
We still have our version of it.
Still have it, love it.
It's technically a worker placement game, but I don't know. It's interesting. I really, really enjoy that game as well.
Yeah, and then also we saw that Quacks is getting a new version. Quacks
That's
of
right.
Quedlinburg, yeah.
I think it's just called Quacks, maybe.
Just Quacks
or
now.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the full title when it was originally released was Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Yes.
And this was a push your luck
Potion
bag building, potion game.
Yeah.
It was like all the rage when it first came out.
yeah.
People really, really loved that game.
People still do like that one, yeah.
We played it a little bit. I don't think it really ever really hit for us, but I think
Not
it's
the biggest fan of Push Your Luck.
yeah, that's the main part of it. But it's really interesting. It's done really well. The push your luck aspect is done well in that game for sure. All right, and finally, let's get into the list.
Yes.
So, I mean, that was like those were the
was like
main
3 lists right there,
really,
yeah.
because now we're going to be talking about a lot of games that we know next to nothing about. So
much, yeah.
maybe you can tell us more about these games if you've played them. Because I think a lot of them are Kickstarters where backers get their games first.
Yep.
So a couple of things. The first thing is we made our list separately, came together, saw that we had a lot of crossovers, and decided to just talk about 20 games.
20 games instead, yeah. We're like, all right, let's reach and find a couple more because we definitely had, I think when we did our combined list, we had like 6 crossovers. So we're like, let's just make it a full 20.
Yes,
10
and so
10.
this is going to be in no particular order. We're just going to be going back and forth. And just so you're aware, a lot of these games are lighter. We have a lot of trick-taking games because, as you probably have already heard, we have covered a lot of the heavier games or are about to.
Yep.
So, shall I go first?
You first, go
I'm just
ahead.
going to use my little cheat sheet
Why
here.
not?
Okay, the first game for me is actually a solo game. So I know I haven't been doing a lot of solo content on our channel as of late. There are reasons for that, but I have not forgotten about the solo community because I still enjoy them. So this is a game published by Envy Born Games, and it's called Hercules and the 12 Laborers. Laborers?
Laborers.
Or Labors?
It's like the works.
Oh, laborers. Sorry. The labor, not the people who are doing
The task,
labor.
not the people doing the task.
Yes, and I
Labor.
believe that is a mythological reference itself.
Didn't
right?
like Hercules have to go through
Yes.
these different feats
Right.
in order to?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
We're clearly not very well versed at this part of Greek mythology.
I
So
think it's in the Hercules Disney movie, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
good question.
It's been a while.
It's a great movie.
Yep.
But anyway, in this game, you play as Hercules, and all I know is it's a dice allocation game where you're trying to progress through the 12 labors. It has a beautiful art style.
Very nice looking,
and
yeah.
I really enjoy dice allocation, especially in solo games.
Yeah.
Because for me, I like my solo games to be sort of like
Snappy.
You know, you kind of go through it. I don't want this whole like thing,
Yeah.
really. So like solo worker placement or a dice allocation.
She doesn't want
usually.
manuals and books and cross-reference and go down this table for her solo experience.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like a long, big thing, but this one may hit a sweet spot, and it has really beautiful art. So I'm very intrigued.
Okay, next one we want to talk about. This is from Chris Yee. He is a new designer, I guess. If you are familiar with that name or if you've heard that before, he is part of the Dice Tower. And this game is called Soda Jerk. The theme of the game is basically you are running a soda shop while also being a jerk to your other opponents.
Very well named.
Soda Jerk. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be from All Play, and the art is done by Sai Beppu, which she does.
I love Sai Beppu.
She does a lot of like really clever, cute
Really
art.
cute art, I'd say.
I really like the box cover of this one, so it just instantly grabbed my attention when I saw it. I saw the name of the designer, the artist, and of course the actual art of the game. And I know very little about the actual mechanics of the game. I know it's a card game, and I want to play it.
And you want to be a jerk.
I want to be a jerk.
Naveen likes that.
Soda jerk.
Being the
Yeah.
clever meanie at the
Meanie.
table. Now, speaking of All Play and Sai Beppu, the next game that I want to talk about is published and illustrated by
Illustrated,
the
I
same
gotcha.
artist. And it's a trick-taking card game called Vivo. Now, to tell you the truth, I know very little about how the game actually plays. I know that it has a really cute singing dog on the cover.
Yeah.
And it was actually originally put on my radar by Jay of Cardboard East because we went to Japan fairly recently to the Tokyo Game Market. And this was a game that was released previously.
I think at the previous game market.
Yes, along with a
2024,
game called
yeah.
like Zoo Stock and Petir. And so when we went to Japan, I went everywhere looking for this game, not knowing that it was going to be released
Yes, by All Play here.
by All Play.
Yeah.
So now that it's going to be released, I need to have it. I just have to have
We
it.
looked for it at the game market, at Yellow Submarine, which is like the big chain over there.
Yeah.
All the used places.
Literally
Couldn't find it.
everywhere.
Everybody said out of stock,
Yes.
not available.
And that is the big risk and fear when it comes to the Tokyo Game Market. Some of these games you'll just never find again.
Unlike this one.
I like this one.
coming.
So we now have a chance
Yeah.
to play this. I don't know much about how it's gonna be.
Something about singing dogs. You're trying to stay
Each
in
round,
harmony.
you reveal a
yes.
harmony type. And the harmony determines how many suits must be played in the trick. So you need to be the person to be as close as possible
Right.
to whatever that harmony type
Gotcha.
is.
Trick taking game.
That's all I know.
Yep.
But it has a dog on the cover. I sort of was a sucker for that when I got Pedikit as well,
Yep.
which still played pretty well. That's another game I think that's going to be at GenCon. So anyway, that is Vivo.
Nice. All right, next game that I don't know too much about. It is a two-player only game designed by Andreas Stedding, who did Gugong, as well as one of my favorite games, Hansa Teutonica.
Oh, so good.
Which I think that game, Hansa Teutonica, plays best at 4 and 5 players.
Okay.
Now, but this one is a two-player only game, so
Oh, okay.
I'm interested to see, kind of what this design is. There's apparently like the theme is you're one
called?
it's called Rival Cities. And so the theme is you are competing as rival cities. One player is playing as Hamburg and another as a different city. Can't remember it. There's a rondel mechanism, and I think that there are several ways that the game can be instantly won by you or your opponent. So I
love
think
that.
it's like one of those games where you're just trying to like keep everything at bay and try to find yourself in a position where you can actually end the game and just instantly win. Don't know much beyond that, but based off of the publisher, Pegasus Spiele, as well as the designer, 2-player only. We love 2-player only games. That is why it's on our list.
And I love 2-player only games that have those like multiple game ending conditions,
Yeah.
because I feel like that is a way to sort of create tension, because you're constantly sort of on the lookout for those things, right?
Exactly, yeah.
All right, moving on to the next game on my list. This is actually one of the crossovers that we were both
when we
interested
came
in.
together, yeah.
This is a game from AEG, who we haven't been able to explore much of their games of lately. So this is one that we're definitely interested in, called Into the Machine. Now, this is a race game, from what I understand, where you race with a bot to one end of the machine, tag the other bot in, and then that bot
has to race
races
the opposite way back.
something like that. We're not exactly quite sure. That's based off of limited knowledge. But it's designed by Casper Lap, who is the same designer as Magic Maze, which is a game that I really have been very fond of in the past, as well as the Magic Maze Tower,
Yep.
which is a sort of play off of Magic Maze, but way less stressful. So I'm very curious to see what this design is all about. And other than that, I really don't know much more about it, except all of your pieces are like circles, squares, triangles, which I'm
we're looking at
assuming
the image.
are the different bots.
Yeah.
So
All right, next game we want to talk about is another 2-player only game. It says it plays in about 20 minutes. This is a card game called Naishi, and it's published by Renegade Game Studios here in the US. Don't know much about this one, like all the other games, but this one, it's a 2-player only, and it's kind of like a tableau builder, hand management game, where there's, I guess, a river of cards that have them kind of like in different orientations, and you have to respect the orientation when you're placing it in your hand or as well as in your tableau.
Yes.
Other than that, I don't know too much about it, but it sounds like it could create a nice little puzzle.
yeah, it says, however, you will not be free to change the positioning of your cards.
There you go.
And you must replace the cards in your hand and in your tableau with cards from the central river. So
Yeah.
there is a bit of a puzzly aspect to it.
I like
with
games that have a
restrictions.
restriction of like positioning of cards. Now, I don't know if it plays like a Bonanza, like a Wind the Film or Photograph, where you have to kind of respect things, or even like something like Scout. So I like when the game forces you to be restricted and try to work along with the positioning of things. So I'm hoping this plays kind of that way.
All right, next up on our list is another trick-taking game called Crits and Tricks. So this comes to us from Inside Up Games, and it's on my list in particular because I really love trick-taking games, honestly.
Yep.
And this has a really, really sort of foreboding look to it. I think it's part of a line that has a very sort of similar theme. That's why it sort of looks that way. But it plays up to 4 players, just like a lot of trick-taking games do. But the thing with this is it says it's a high-stakes trick-taking
High
game.
stakes.
Where the quests you embark on each round will reward you with loot. So it seems like the primary core of the game are the quests. And I think that that is an interesting pairing with trick-taking. I am always interested to see what people do with trick-taking as a mechanic rather than just the main game.
It's so strange because the game says 1 to 4 players.
Yeah,
So I'm like trick-taking at solo. What could
Oh.
that be? It says 1 to 4.
that's true.
Yeah.
I kind of just skipped
So I
past
think maybe
past
there's
that.
more emphasis on those quests.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We
Who
will
knows?
have to find
Yeah,
out.
We'll find out.
So anyway, that is the extent of what I know. That is Crits and Tricks.
All right, more trick taking. We love trick taking
Lots of
games.
trick-taking.
I absolutely love it.
Yes.
We always like to see what is that quirk in it. So this one is from a game, our publisher called Dead Alive Games, and this one's called Lunar Skyline. So from my understanding of this game, every card has 2 suits on it. So most cards, it's like this is the hearts, the spades, the clubs. This one will have like water and plant. Those are like 2 of the suits, and so whenever you are playing a trick, you can play the card and it could represent either one of those 2 suits. So I don't know too much more beyond that other than like it can play up to 6 players. And I guess the game is very dynamic depending on the player count that you play. So
Oh,
like
yeah,
2-player only is like very like tactical. 6-player is kind of maybe more open and just kind of wild. And so any game that plays up to 6 trick taking, I'm very, very interested because we find ourselves at conventions all the time with a group of 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And we want to play quick games that we can get into before we split up. So
I'm very interested in that one as well. I would be curious to see how it plays, like at the 2, 3, and 6, because they seem like different experiences.
Yep.
Yeah, all of the trick taking,
Yep.
all the time.
more
So
trick
much
taking.
trick taking.
Keep coming.
All right, next on our list is not a trick-taking game. This is actually a game that has 3 different designers on it, and it's called Flintlock Global Warfare in 20 Minutes. Now, I'm not one to typically put like
War games,
war-themed
yeah.
games on my list. It's not a theme that I gravitate towards, but the reason why this is on my list is because Paolo Mori is a designer who has designed games such as Caesar,
Ethnos.
Ethnos?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Blitzkrieg. And this is a game that is sort of in the same vein as Blitzkrieg. And I really enjoyed those like 20-minute experiences, the 2-player only sort of games. This is up to 4 players, so I don't know what this is going to be like.
Because Caesar, Dogfight, and Blitzkrieg were all 2-player only.
Or we at least played them at 2.
Yeah.
I think
I think
Caesar
they're all
is
two-
definitely
I
a
think
2-player
they're all
only
two-player
game.
only,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're very tight, very quick games. You're kind of in it for those like 20 minutes, and I really sort of enjoyed those experiences. So I'm very curious to see how this is implemented. Now, it says here on BGG that it is a 2 different game sort
2
of
games within
thing.
the same game.
Like you can play the 7 Years' War, or you can play the French and Indian War, that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm very curious to see what this is like as compared to the others.
Sure. All right, the next game we want to talk about is one called Age of Galaxy. Now, this is the 2nd edition. I've actually never even played the 1st edition, but the designer is Jeffrey CCH. He is the one that designed a game called Inheritors, which is a card game that I really, really enjoyed over
Yeah.
the past couple of years. Still in our collection. Really, really like that one. So now that his name is on this, I'm like, well, I'm instantly interested in
Gotta
it.
see what it's like.
Got to see what it's like. So this is like a space-themed intergalactic theme where you are going to be taking on the roles of interstellar factions, and apparently the cards are multi-use. So it's a 4X game that is played, and it says 45 to 60 minutes.
Oh, interesting.
And that is kind of like the like time length I want to play a 4X game.
That's
Like,
a
I
very
don't-
difficult
I know,
time
yeah,
length.
yeah. I just
to
want to get in
explore.
and out of them. I mean, okay, I could play like a 2-hour one technically, but it's
Yeah,
not one
okay.
that I would probably visit over and over
Okay.
again. If I can get an experience like that in about 60 minutes, then that would be very, very good. For me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're intrigued for that reason.
Yes, exactly. And I like the idea of multi-use cards because
Yes,
that
me too.
inherently always creates a decision point for you. It's like, I want this for this, but it's really useful right now to use it for that.
Yes.
And that's like just such a nice part of games. So this one is Age of Galaxy, the 2nd edition. Don't know too much beyond that, but Jeffrey CCH, we really like his games.
Or is at least Inheritors.
I love that game.
All right, moving on. I believe we are now halfway through the list. We haven't been ordering them because we also don't want to make it seem like they are in a particular order.
They're really not,
But
yeah.
I believe this is a halfway point.
Okay.
So I think this is the only Uwe Rosenberg game that's on the list, or one from what I saw.
Yeah, I think European designer, I'm pretty sure mostly Essen releases. So
Yeah,
to be
maybe.
exclusively like first at GenCon, I
It's
think
tough.
this is the only one. Yeah.
Yes. So this is a game called Garden Lake, Uwe Rosenberg game published by Albi. And I believe, so Uwe Rosenberg has heavy strategy games. We did an entire series on Uwe Rosenberg's games.
A lot of games.
That we actually split into 2 parts. We did the Polyomino Tile series first, and then we did the heavy strategy games. So this game, I believe, falls in line with the Polyomino series, which I adore. So I love Polyomino games. I love those quick playing, tile laying, sort of relaxing experiences. And this one, just from the description, says Garden Lake offers a relaxing and rewarding
There you go.
experience.
It says it right there.
So I'm really curious. It says you build your garden lakes with water tiles or with water lilies and koi fish. So it's polyomino tile laying. But whenever you place a tile, you can earn additional tiles by completing various objectives. So I like games like that. You know, he released New York Zoo, which is one that I really enjoyed, where you kind of do a thing and it allows you to put out more stuff. And it's usually like a race to see who can like fill up your board first. So I don't know. I just feel like it's been a while since I played a new polyomino tile laying game in general. So this is one that I'd really like to check out.
Uwe Rosenberg, of course. Next game is from All Play once again, and this is designed by John D. Clare. Now, I'm a big fan of John D. Clare's designs. Ready, Set, Bet is one of my favorite real-time betting games. There's not very many of
Not
those out
very
there,
many out there.
but I do love that game. And then Space Base is like in my top 50 for sure. I really, really like that one. So John D. Clare has a new design coming out called Ruins. This one is a hand management ladder climbing game, but he utilizes his transparency system
Yes.
in it. So if you're familiar with Mystic Veil, I believe, is the name of the game, where it
He does it
introduces
in
the
a few of
transparencies.
his games. I know in Dead Reckoning, there was some use of that as well.
Yeah, so I guess on your turn, you're going to create a unique card by placing it in one of those transparencies, and you're trying to shed your cards or ladder climb. So other than that, I don't really
sounds
know.
cool.
The art looks very nice. So based off of kind of these different mechanisms coming together, and the fact that these transparencies kind of create combinations that you wouldn't typically see in a static deck, I'm very intrigued. Not much more to say. That is Ruins.
All right, next up on our list is the final trick-taking game.
We promise.
We promise. And it is a game from Pandasaurus called Tricky Kids.
Hmm.
Now, when I first came across this game, I thought it was a trick-taking game for kids. So don't make that mistake, because I looked at it again, and it's actually ages 12 and up. So it's definitely
Okay.
not a kid's game. And the reason why this made the list is because in this game, apparently at the start of each round, you assign the values that total 21 across your hand. And then you use those cards to win tricks. So
Oh, interesting.
just
Okay.
like we were mentioning earlier, we really enjoy checking out what new mechanisms people employ in
quirks.
trick-taking games, because trick-taking is like really just one thing. And in order for you to make a ton of games in this line, you have to have some sort of a quirk.
Yeah.
And Cat in the Box did something very similar. Cat in the Box is one that I really love, where you have no suits.
No suits. It's just all
Just
values.
numbers.
Yeah. So you create the suits as you play.
Yes.
So this one is you create the numbers, is it?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm just going based off of the description, but they have to add up to 21.
Okay.
So very interested in
Yeah.
seeing how this unfolds. And it looks cute. So that is Tricky Kids.
There you go. Okay, next we have a game called 12 Rivers. Now, this is published by a company in Australia called Good Games Publishing. They have a tendency to find hidden gem kind of games. And I
Hence
think,
the name.
yeah, Good Game Publishing. So I think they did Land versus Sea,
Yes.
which is one of our favorite
Two-player
games.
like tile.
Thailand games, yeah. And we've also covered some of their other games on the channel before. So 12 Rivers, basically you are trying to place out your tribe tokens along this river because you want to collect the right set of pearls that come out and flow down the river. So I believe there are these marbles that represent the different pearls that are in the game. And so you're trying to basically position yourself along the river, collect the ones that you want, and anything that you don't kind of get shoved down in kind of a physically mechanical kind of fashion. Yeah. Like there's like these dam tokens that I've seen on some of the images.
Okay.
And then the pearls can end up in the lake.
Interesting.
And you can try to scavenge, and you're looking for like this ultimate pearl.
So there's some physics.
Some sort of physics involved in it.
Marbles.
But I don't think it's like a contraption or anything like
Okay,
that.
yeah,
It just
it's
helps
just-
kind
it's
of
still like
keep the theme going
it's
with
a
the
strategy game.
Yeah, exactly.
still.
So
Okay.
hand management strategy game plays in 45 to 75 minutes. I love that kind of range of time. 12 Rivers.
All right, moving on to our next one. We are in the home stretch, by the way. I know we're talking about so many games
Games.
today, but this
So
is kind
many.
of a silly one. This is a game from Devere called Red Carpet. Now, there is some component of this game where you have to use your phone. And now I normally wouldn't to necessarily gravitate towards those types of games, but one of the reasons why this made our list is because it was actually highly recommended to me from our friends over at Kavre, Ilya and Tyler, who said, no, it's great. We played it. It's so good. So
Okay.
I am very curious to see what they are talking about here, because it says on BGG, in Red Carpet, you play as a photographer who seeks to capture the best portraits of the celebrities who arrive in limousines
Okay.
and parade down the red carpet to the awards gala. So in this game, you're moving your cell phone camera like sideways.
So you're actually
adjusting-
using your camera as one of the major
Yeah.
components of the game.
You're
Okay.
a cell phone photographer
phone.
at
Okay,
a
yeah.
gala, and you're trying to adjust angles. You're calling out to celebrities to get the best shots in order to reward you with more points. So
So I think there's like standee celebrities.
Yeah,
But
I
then
think
there's
so
like
too.
handlers and like PR people that kind of get in the way, and you want to capture just the shot of the celebrity, like
Yes.
front on as best as possible.
yeah.
Okay.
So if we were going to GenCon, I would definitely be going to see what this game is about.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
want to try and play this myself, because we do like heavy strategy games, but we also like games like this.
Sometimes you just want a nice silly game.
A silly game. You know, I said I love Magic Maze, very silly game. And so this sounds also very silly. So that is Red Carpet.
Sure. All right, next one on our list. We pretty much have one of these every single year. It's coming from Garfield Games, and this one is called Scarabre. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly.
Scarbray, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but it's a game themed in northern Scotland, and so I've heard from other people that this is like resource management, the game. There's apparently like
Oh.
12 plus different resources that you're all trying to manage.
Oh
And
boy.
yeah. And so the theme of the game, I guess, is 5,000 years ago, this thriving hunter gatherer farming tribe. They would collect resources, do whatever they did, but then whenever they discarded them, they would kind of discard them into these large mounds. And
Okay.
so over the generations, those large mounds could then actually be utilized to create like wind tunnels and like kind of protect themselves from the elements.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Very
very
resourceful.
intrigued to see how much of the historical context and the theme actually shines through in the actual game itself. But I really like resource management games. We both do. And
Yeah, we
so,
both do. I struggle with them, I think.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of resources and a lot of managing.
This
of
one has
them.
apparently a lot of it.
Yeah.
So you are trying to gather various resources in order to feed, clothe, and shelter and grow the number of shelters, kind of
makes
like
sense.
in the way that I kind of described. So Garfield Games, Shem Phillips, I really, really enjoy all of his titles. There's never really been one that I was not fond of. And so that's why this is on the list.
All right, we are now on to the last two titles each, and again, in no particular order. The next one is a game called Sunavalo, and this comes to us from Capstone, I believe. Same designer as La Granja. And this is a two-player only game, 45 to 90 minutes. And it looks like, so the theme is you're in a solar punk world of overgrown. So the name of the place is called Sunny Valley, which
Okay.
is what Sunavalo is derived from. And the description says this game features an innovative purchasing mechanism. So you secure the right cards before your opponent does,
Okay.
snatch up the more valuable ones, host prestigious events, and it sounds like it's a tableau builder because each time you acquire a new card for your farm, you activate an entire column of cards.
Oh,
so that
okay.
is what had me intrigued the most. Plus the fact that it's a two-player only game.
So kind of like how Deus did that. And if you're familiar with this older
Yeah.
Euro game, Deus, like the only way you activate a particular column of cards that you've kind of stacked up
Yeah.
is by drafting that kind of card and
Yes.
then re kind of
That's what it
activating it,
sounded
yeah.
like to me. I don't know if it's going to be the same implementation.
Yeah, of
if
course.
you've never played Deus before, by the way, that is an older Euro game that I still really enjoy. I think it's still in our collection.
you can see right there.
Base game primarily. But yeah, I'm always typically interested in the two-player only games that Capstone releases. The last, I think we played Beer and Bread
Beer and
was
Bread.
one example, and
Yep.
this is a bit of a longer one, but I am very curious to see what it's like. That is Sunavalo.
Okay, the next game we're going to talk about, this is another one from Devere Games. Now, this one is slated as a solo game that you can play cooperative. So I think it's primarily a solo game.
So 1 to 2.
1 to 2 players, yeah. And it is called Ace of Spades. Now, in this one, the theming of the game is you're on a vengeance mission. Basically, you've been ousted from this place in Arizona. In this cemetery by this necromancer, and you are basically using poker hands to try to fight your way back and defeat this necromancer that's taken over the cemetery.
As one would do.
As one would
if
do
that would
with
happen.
with poker hands. So
With
it's got
poker hands.
kind of like this Western, like sci-fi theme to it. I really, really enjoy poker and poker style games. So there was a game that came out, I think 2 years ago called Flip Town that I really, really enjoyed. That one was pure poker hands. And so as soon as I found out this was poker based
Yeah.
and the kind of the overall arching theme of the game that you're just kind of trying to hack and slash your way by utilizing poker hands to defeat different enemies, says it plays in about 40 to 45 minutes co-op. We like playing solo games in a co-op fashion.
Yes.
So this kind of seems like it's like right up our alley.
And last year there was also a game that you really loved, like one of your favorite games of last year, The Gang.
The Gang, oh yeah,
Yeah,
Gang is
that-
another
that
poker,
was another-
poker Texas Hold'em specifically style game.
Yes.
So I really, really enjoy poker, the actual game of it, and anytime people have it in their games as part of the mechanisms, then I really, really enjoy it.
And I will say poker hands as a mechanism is a bit hit or miss for me. Specifically in The Gang, that was very stressful for me because I'm not one who knows poker very well, but I'm definitely willing to give it a try.
The Gang specifically is so there's poker and then
no.
there's like Texas Hold'em. I won't
have I
go do a
done?
full teach, but
Okay,
like.
okay.
There's one thing about knowing like the traditional poker, which is like 5-card draw.
Yeah.
That's a style of poker that you can play. And then taking that and then understanding the strategy in a Texas Hold'em style game,
Yes.
which is a different form of poker. So that's why I think you were kind of like,
Multi-layered
it's like a layer on that frustration.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ace of Spades, this one seems fantastic. I'd love to play it.
And finally, we have our final choices each. Now, for my pick, this is a game where Paolo Mori is making another reappearance, but this is from two different designers, published by Repos Production, and it's called Toy Battle. Now, this is a 2-player only game that plays in 15 minutes. So, as you know, the other titles were like 20 minutes or less. This is now down to 15 minutes. So it's even faster. But the main reason, to tell you the truth, why this made my list is because we have a few game groups that we're a part of, but one that we have been frequenting for a very long time. We're very good friends with these folks. When we went to see them last time, we were playing in large groups of people, and over again they kept saying, "Well, why don't we just play Toy Battle? I'll show it to one of them. Let's have one of us play Toy Battle." And
many of them had the fervor to want to show us this game.
Yeah.
And then when we looked it up and like, oh, Palo Mori.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 15 minutes, 2-player only.
Yeah. So after that, I was like, "What is this game?"
Yeah,
They are all just smitten by it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess it's this game called Toy Battle. And it sounds very simple. Like on your turn, you're going to draw two toy troops.
Two toy troops, yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
Two
toy
toy
troops.
troops.
And you'll place a troop on the board, apply its effect, but you're trying to place them in a way so that you can eventually occupy your opponent's headquarters. It's one of the ways that you win, or win the required number of medals. So I don't know exactly how that works, but it sounds very simple in turn structure.
Apparently there's an implementation on BGA, which our friends were telling us about.
Okay.
So it's a good way just to kind of understand and learn the game. I'd like to play physical copies first
For the
and
first
then
time, yeah.
go and play on BGA. That's
know
just
what you
me
mean.
personally.
So anyway, that is the extent of what I know about it.
Look at that box art, by the way. That's here right now. Look at it.
Hopefully it's there.
Look at it.
Yeah, it's very intriguing theme, and also just very intriguing why they were so smitten by it. So that is Toy Battle.
Okay, the final game that we want to talk about. Now, this is another 2-player only game. As you can see, we really enjoy those because the games are, of course, designed for our specific player count. This one plays in about 25 to 40 minutes, and it's from Salt and Pepper Games. And this one is called Operation Barclay. So this one technically it says on BGG that it came out in 2024, but releasing now here in the US 2025. And the theme of this game is you are in World War II and you're taking on the role of either the Allies' military intelligence or the Axis's military intelligence. And so it's like a battle of wits, I guess. There's apparently a mechanism of bluffing and betting in this game, and it's a hand management style game where you're going to be secretly deploying units according to the BGG listing.
Okay.
I try not to look up too much stuff before I play it first.
So you saw theme, bluffing, 2-player only.
2-player
Let's do
only.
it.
Salt and Pepper Games, which we have enjoyed in the past. And then also the overarching theme, like you said, of it being kind of military intelligence and you're trying to outwit your opponent.
I do enjoy 2-player only games that have bluffing. Bluffing for me is not like a huge interest, I guess, because it kind of stresses me out, honestly.
Yeah, for her.
But
yeah.
with 2 players, it makes it sort of like a mind game,
That's exactly why.
Yeah. So I do think that is an intriguing concept.
And it says the weight, the complexity is only like 2 on the scale of like 1 to 5.
Yeah, that's nice.
So it's like perfect. It just seems like a nice game that you just want to get into for the evening and then just be done with it. So Operation Barclay, that is the last one on the list.
And there you have it. Those are our anticipated games. We must have talked about probably like 50 games today.
A lot of games
This
today.
was a very...
I have a lot of work cut out. You know all
Long.
those little thumbnails, the box art that comes up?
We got to put them all in.
I got to go find them, download them, size them, get them on here. Yep.
But anyway, we hope you enjoyed the list. Now, again, especially for the anticipated aspect of this video, we have not played those games. So we don't know when we'll be able to, especially since we're not going to be attending GenCon this year. But if you have played those games before, or if you do end up playing them, please share your experiences in the comments down below. Also, if there are any titles that we did not include that you think is an egregious error, please let us know as well, because we take a lot of recommendations from the comment section.
Yeah.
So we really, really appreciate hearing from you all.
And thank you again to Upper Deck for helping sponsor this episode. We really appreciate that as well. Thank you all so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.